Today is September 10th. It is the typical peak of hurricane season, but it's been pretty quiet. As you know, we have had 6 named storms, only 1 actual hurricane. That was Aaron. Forecast predicted up to 19 storms and 10 hurricanes. We want to bring in Fox Weather's hurricane specialist, Bryan Norcross, this morning to talk more about it. Great to see you, sir. How are you?
Okay, Amy, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks. So let's talk first about, we go into the season with predictions. A lot of times those predictions are revised throughout the season because it doesn't quite play out how it was predicted. It's not a perfect science. So are you surprised that it's been relatively quiet so far?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out exactly why it's so quiet again. So remember, we have different kinds of hurricane season. Early in the season, we have storms develop in the Gulf generally, or the Western Caribbean, and then we switch to the Eastern Atlantic, and then we switch back to the Gulf and the Caribbean later in the season. And these Eastern Atlantic seasons, last year and this year, really have not worked out the way we thought, and there's a reason. We just don't know completely what the reason is. So here's the hurricane season. So here we are at the peak right here, right now. 57, 60% of the activity remaining here. You notice the slope is kind of different. It takes longer for the hurricane season to end than it does to start. That's just the reality of the statistics. And here's what you were talking about. You see the number of named storms so far, 6 instead of 8. But in the category 3s, we did have Aaron, remember? So we're right on average there. On average, 2 more category 3 and above are yet to come. And when you look at the tropical energy, or it's called the ACE, accumulated tropical energy, or accumulated cyclone energy, you see we're at 40, and it's usually 58. That's 2/3. So we are behind, but last year we really picked up in terms of the strong storms later in the year. Obviously, Helene and Milton were key ones. So no tropical activity, but look at the Atlantic. It's incredibly dry, all the way over to the Caribbean. Lots of excess dry air, and that's what's making it very difficult for these storms to develop. High pressure is stronger than normal out there, so that's driving dry air down to the south in this kind of circulation. Also cutting off some of the disturbances that come off of Africa. That's a factor. Maybe dragging more dust out than normal. The total dust is less than normal, but longer into the season. And then we have this disturbed weather called the ITCZ down to the south, and it makes only a little corridor. Remember 91L that we were watching and thinking was going to develop was in that corridor for a while, and then it got out. So we have a lot of, it's a very fine lines of what's going on there. Why is it happening? That we don't know. The high pressure is going to move away this week and weaken, and that'll kind of make a corridor here for storms to move perhaps into the Atlantic. We'll see. Here's the moisture that we have as of this Saturday. It's just a big blob over here. It's really nothing. We go through next week. Look at this. They start to organize a bit. We get 1, 2, 3 kind of disturbances here, but nothing really organized. Lots of dry air. The brown is dry all around it. We have an exclusive combination model here. The European GFS and the Google AI model gives us an idea where storms, the consensus is, might develop. And you see we're talking way next week that maybe we get one coming here. But notice it's already turning to the north. So we don't have any concern about this part of the hurricane season as of right now. Then we'll turn our attention later in the month to the Gulf and the Caribbean, and then we'll see all kind of bets are off there. That's a whole different weather regime that doesn't appear to be affected by whatever is going on in the Atlantic.
So Bryan, one of the things Brooks keeps talking about here, our meteorologist, is just that how warm the water is, and that the reason we have hurricane season, people understand why do we have to have these major storms, is to bring that cooler air in so that we can have eventually a change of season. So can you talk about the heat of the water and how that could be problematic?
Yeah, many things are conducive to super conducive for storms. The Atlantic is plenty warm. It's the 6th warmest on record. Certainly the Gulf is super warm, although that cold front that Brooks has been talking about, that kind of stirs up the northern Gulf a little bit. But still, the Gulf is always warm. The Caribbean is plenty warm. There's no issue there. The hostile upper level winds, sometimes we talk about wind shear, that's not really an issue, especially over the Caribbean and the Gulf, the southern Gulf, northern Gulf, different story. So, you know, there's plenty of room for storms to develop. I think what's going to happen is, I think, again, the eastern Atlantic is just not going to be where they're going to come from this year. And starting later this month, we're going to pay attention to what's going on around Central America. That Central American gyre that can spin out storms like Helene last year. I mean, you know, it's another year, another gyre. So we'll see what happens with that.
And it's a very fascinating science because you never know what to expect, like a box of chocolates. Fox Hurricane Specialist Bryan Norcross, always great to have you with us, Bryan. Thank you.
All right, Amy, thanks. Have a good morning.
Take care.